Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Gemma Chua-Tran about Heartbreak High, streaming now on Netflix. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to chat with you. I have questions about Sasha, this character. There's so much happening with a lot of these characters. You do such a great job with Sasha. Just general, for a lot of people, it was a very popular show in Australia in the 90s, Heartbreak High. This is the version that's on Netflix now. That is like the reimagination, everything. Did you know a lot about the one in the 90s specifically? Did you watch it beforehand, or was it all new to you?
Oh, it was very much new to me. I was born in 2001 and didn't really grow up with that much television in general. So when I actually found out that I was cast in the show, I tried to just watch a couple episodes of the original series just at home because it was lockdown and I had really nothing else to do. And it was gritty and it was good. I didn't get very far because I was stressing myself out about being oh my gosh, do I be like these people? And then, we did a table read and they were like, don't base anything off the original show. This is a completely different show in a completely different context. And, whatever we cast you for, we cast you for.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you audition for multiple roles? Did you audition only for Sasha? What can you tell me about the audition process?
See, that was a really interesting one, actually. In the very, very initial auditions for the main three characters, I did do an audition for Quinny, who had a different name at the time.
Okay.
And because I was in a really strange headspace back in 2021 now. I was just passing on a bunch of auditions because I was going to uni and I was just having family stuff going on. And so I just kind of wanted to put acting just on the side. It was just a little bit overwhelming for me. Yep. And I ended up getting sent auditions for Sasha and Harper, but I didn't do them. And then
this is a whole journey. I love this.
I know. And then a couple weeks later, completely forgot about it. Did not realize that it was related to the audition that I did in February. Mm-hmm. And then, weeks later, they were like, somehow you were still in the running. Do you just want to do a Zoom callback? And my housemate ended up having to be like, Gemma, get your stuff together. Just do this one audition. You'll be okay. And so I did a chemistry read with Chloe, who was so, so lovely. And then, a couple of weeks later, I found out I got the role.
Amazing. And I do have Sasha Quinny questions because that's arguably one of my favorite storylines of the whole show.
Oh my gosh.
It's important. It's one of the most important ones.
It's such an important storyline. And I'm so amazed to see all of the audience reactions, and it's so heartwarming. And then, I don't know.
And I find it interesting because you look at a lot of characters, you look at Sasha, during the pandemic, a lot of people were doing a lot of self-reflection, a lot of soul-searching because we had the time to do so. And you look at a lot of characters like your character, and I feel like your characters are doing a lot of, figuring things out, a lot of soul-searching and everything. So I feel like Heartbreak High, because of what we kind of dealt with the pandemic, self-reflection-wise, becomes a lot more relatable, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So have you ever thought about that at all?
I've never actually thought about that in that context.
But it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah. Because, I don't know, everyone's a little bit more online, a little bit more woke, I suppose. Yeah. And so, a lot of the slang and stuff, especially that we use, and the world issues that I guess we tackle, they're all a lot more universally relatable too.
Yeah, totally. And, it's pretty cool because, the show's on Netflix. People from all around the world are watching the show, loving the show, which is amazing. If you would put kind of a genre label. I mean, you know, YA young adult, like it's one of the most hottest young adult shows on Netflix right now. Is it cool knowing also that you're part of like a crop of amazing YA Netflix shows like Young Royals, Heartstoppers, Sex Education? Like, it's pretty cool to think that like all those fans of those shows will all like love and are there for Heartbreak High as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just genuinely insane. I never expected anything like this. And to just like be on Netflix as a platform was just insane to me. But the fact that it's doing so well in so many different countries, I've been in shock just for these past like 3 weeks now. It hasn't really settled in, but I'm like, yeah, all of these shows like Heartstopper, Young Royals, Sex Education, like I love those shows. And to be, I don't know, regarded in a show like that, I don't know, like that's stupid. That's crazy.
Well, I know you and the cast for a couple of weeks now have been doing some press. You did some really funny, some cool things as well as a group as well. Some of you did some stuff, and I find it interesting because I feel like it's just this balloon. Because at one point, you know, you find out that Heartbreak High is coming, like the release date and everything, and then it's just kind of like, I don't know, maybe a lot of you were working on stuff before or just kind of preparing, and then it's just like all at once, basically, right? You're doing press, it drops, the social media fandom, like it's just crazy to process.
I know. I haven't processed all of it. As soon as Heartbreak High dropped, I booked in a therapy appointment. I was like, I know something's gonna happen, and I know I'm gonna need to talk about it with a professional.
Well, I think it's like, can you prepare yourself? I mean, I guess you can prepare yourself as much as you can with the fact that, you know, Netflix is a powerhouse for the global aspect of it, right? Because so many people have Netflix. So I feel like that kind of sinks in, right? That you know that there's a possibility that a lot of people will watch it.
I always felt like there was a possibility. Yeah. I never knew. I mean, I guess I never knew anything from the marketing side. I didn't know, like, you know, where they were going to push it in like certain places. But then when, you know, like maybe it was like a week or two before the release date in Sydney, like billboards were starting to come out, and I was like, okay, they're like pushing it.
There's a billboard of our show.
I'm like, my face is on a building right now, and people are like messaging me saying, I see you at my university all the time because there's just like billboards of you. I'm like, that's hilarious. But no, I don't know. Again, like leading up to the show, lots of people were like, how do you feel about it coming out? Like, are you prepared? And I'm like, how am I supposed to prepare for something? I have no idea like what to prepare for. I don't think anyone can prepare for something like this.
No, I don't think you can. I mean, that's my next question then. I mean, I'm sure the reception from your family and friends it's just been probably just crazy, the fact that they're like us kind of seeing like how well it's doing, because you can see it on social media, right? You can see all the posts and all the fan art, like you can see it's like well received. So what's that been specific like for your family and friends, them seeing everything?
See, that's really funny because my family like really don't know what I do, like at all. They're very like, you're not a doctor, why not? So they've kind of just, you know, I've sent them like little clips and like bits and pieces, but I feel like they don't really get it. But my friends have been super proud of me, and it's been, I don't know, I guess really overwhelming and so good to have these people to lean upon in, you know, times where I have no idea like what to do and like what's best for me.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, it's been so bizarre because as of like the past week or so, we've been getting like stopped on the streets and stuff.
Sasha Quinny, oh my God, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, and like some people will refer to me as Sasha, and I'm like, girly pop, that's not my name.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, I will respond to it.
I think it's has it been, it's funny because, you know, you're probably getting DMs from Australia a lot, but you're probably getting DMs from all around the world because it's so global. I remember it's funny because Margot Robbie was on like an Australian soap opera for many years. She talked about the interviews called Neighbours.
Yeah.
And I remember she went on like Jimmy Fallon. So like she went to like a Slipknot concert once in like Australia, and like people were recognizing her from Neighbours, asking her all these questions in between sets. Like I thought that was like the coolest story I've ever heard.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you like, I don't know, like make an impact with your work, then
I could totally see that. I could totally see like, I don't know if you're like into music, like go to concerts or anything, but I could totally see you and like the cast going to like a concert, and I could totally see like people bumping into you, being like, "So when's season 2?" Or like just casually just asking you, like they know you, like, "So like, have you heard anything about season 2?" Like,
yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear from season 2, but we haven't heard back from that yet. But yeah, I mean, the cast and myself, we're all so close, and we've all planned to, you know, hang out and like do things together, thinking of going to a music festival. I've never been to a music festival. I would love to go to a music festival.
It was just an example I thought of because I remember that interview, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that'd be heaps of fun. But like, I'm also just like nervous that, you know, when people like get intoxicated and like feel like they know you, I'm scared that people will be like touchy and
no, absolutely,
you know,
no, absolutely. But like, no, I totally get that. I would just say more of kind of like like you said about people being like Sasha, and you're like, that's not my name and everything.
Yeah, people will just like walk up, saunter up.
Maybe so. Are there any? So I interviewed Brody, and he told me that there were some like inside jokes and there's some funny stuff here and there. But like, were there any like pranks on set that happened? Like any pranks?
Set?
Yeah, or like offset?
No, I don't know. I guess it wasn't really a prank. It wasn't really that funny. But like, when we were all staying in the same service department building, like all together, like Will, who plays Cash, and I would like do like knock and runs.
That's a prank.
Just to, like,
I will gladly accept that as a prank.
Yes, sure, it's a prank. I'm sure we did pranks. It's just been so long.
Well, I mean, I always ask that question, and it's either like maybe the legit wasn't pranks, but sometimes I'll ask like people that from other shows too, and they're like, no pranks, and I'm kind of like, I feel like you might be fibbing. Like, I don't know if you're being honest with me.
There always has to be a prank.
Or like something.
How do you work for like 4 months without pranking someone?
When I interviewed the cast of It with like Pennywise the Clown, those were like high level pranks. Like they had I feel like that was a very pranky cast. Because they had like 30 stories to tell me. Like one time we did this, one time we did that, one time we put balloons in this guy's trailer. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like you were so ready for me to ask that question.
Oh my God, so true. Yeah, I don't have any fun little. I mean, I guess like I would go around and get burped by people. Does that?
That's.
It'd be like,
well, I feel like that just kind of goes.
Like, people,
I feel like that just goes hand in hand with like the late nights on set. Like I feel like just that type of.
Yeah, like the boys would swing me over their shoulder and just and walk around, and that was something that became a thing, I guess.
Getting back to Heartbreak High before we wrap up the interview on more of like a serious note, because I do love like the Sasha Quinny storyline is fantastic. When you see that storyline and then see, you know, what the characters are going through, the fact that they're not understanding certain things and the fact that it's just a lot all at once, like, is that like a little like challenging to you, like to prepare for something like that? Because Sasha is in like a situation where, you know, it's a difficult situation because she sometimes doesn't, she's not like sure maybe sometimes what's kind of going on in that storyline sometimes specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chloe and I had a lot of communication. Okay. We made sure that, you know, we were making each other feel safe.
Yep.
on set at all times because that was absolutely the most important part. And because Chloe had so much to do with the script and communication with what she felt most like best represented her experience with autism. I felt comfortable saying what I had to say in the story to facilitate, you know, a more important story being told. But it's been really interesting with like the audience reaction to that as well. But yeah, I think definitely tread around it with, you know, safety, I suppose, because I want to make sure, like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No, absolutely. Just, like, but it's a huge storyline. There's a lot in Heartbreak High, but that's the one when I got this interview confirmed, I was like, this is the one I want to ask about, because I can't even, like, it's just, there's a lot to unpack there. And both of you did such an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Gemma, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. It was so great chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me, Pete. Can I call you Pete? Is it
of course, you can call me Pete. Absolutely. So here's the thing. Heartbreak High is streaming now worldwide on Netflix. Chances are they've watched season 1 already, but you know what they could do if they have already watched it? They could just watch it again, right?
Watch it again.
And again.
I'll maybe give it a little double thumbs up.
And then watch it again. And it's cool because, like I said, the cast did some press and there's some cool things. Stuff's coming out now too, of like you reading certain things or like doing, like, there's some really funny things coming out with the Heartbreak High cast, which is amazing. So there's so much content, I feel like, with like the interviews and everything. Like, I feel like there was like that 2-week wait of like waiting for all that content, and now there's a lot of Heartbreak High content on the way.
There's a lot of Heartbreak High content. Yes, there is.
Absolutely. And they're going to consume it all because the fans are amazing. And your Instagram account, is it just your name?
Yeah.
It's just Gemma. Okay, perfect.
You got it.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, it's Gemma Chua-Tran, who plays Sasha in Heartbreak High, streaming now worldwide on Netflix. And Petey Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.